Welcome to the Shabby And Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters,
and everything else in between. And namaskar. Oi hoi, it's election time. That's right. India will be getting the results on June the 5th, I think.
That's right.
And Rishi Sunak has called a snap election this week for July the 4th. Of course, the overwhelming image that I have, which is forever etched in my mind, is him standing in the pouring rain like a scene from some Richard Curtis movie. And I think it's generally acknowledged that after 14 years of a conservative government, they really do not have much chance of regaining their power.
I think that's the impression everybody gets. That,
of course, we could be surprised. Tune in a month's time and it could all be totally different. Maybe the BJP won't win in India and maybe the Labour Party won't win in England. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a possibility. Although they are saying that the party which is in power in both countries did get a lot of flack simply because they happened to be in power when COVID struck. They had to take some very tough decisions. They had to take some very unpopular, economically difficult decisions, which people are still kind of, not over yet. They're still having to pay the price for. And so by default, they kind of became the bad guys. They became the bad cop. And this is something I think both the BJP and the Tories here are very quick to point out, that we are the ones who've kind of steered the country through the COVID crisis. And now we are, especially with Rishi Sunak, he's saying that now the economy is finally turning a corner. And it's all thanks to our concentrated efforts.
I don't know if it's a plus point or a minus point, because many people have very bad memories of how the governments were during COVID.
Yes. And I think it didn't help that, all the parties that Boris Gate and every other party gate and everything else that was investigated, and it didn't, obviously show them in a good light. Nonetheless, if you talk just about politics and their policies, I feel that, the party in power, whoever was in power during COVID, would have a difficult time convincing the voters to kind of believe that what they did was for the best, because jobs were lost, lives were lost.
But at the time, no one knew any better.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
In their defense, no one untreaded ground.
Yeah, absolutely. This
uncharted
territory. Nobody had ever navigated a global pandemic on the scale of COVID. And so it'll be interesting, to say the least, to see how it pans out. And I hope that whoever comes to power is someone who's capable and worthy of building the economy again, winning people's trust back. I think in both countries there's a very, very scary parallel story running, which is that, when you think of, even if you're tired of the party which is in power, is the opposition capable enough of repairing the damage and, putting us back on the rail?
And if you're tuning in America, of course, you've got an election coming up as well, but that is a whole different.
Yeah, we don't know whether that's a comedy sketch or whether it's actually.
That is a whole different kettle of fish.
Yes, that's at least to us, those of us who, I know America dictates policies around the world, and the American president is a very, very important, if not the most important political figure in the world, given how powerful America is as a country. Nonetheless, looking at it from afar, from across the pond, as they say, feels more like a comedy show than anything else, but it is what it is. I think it could, as you're saying, results could be dramatically different from what people think might happen in the upcoming elections. Now, is it by design, or is it just a coincidence that three of the biggest economies in the world are all going to the polls this year? Britain, India and America. But it'll be, I think, exciting times ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Russia's already been to the polls.
That's not even a poll, but it is, naam ke vaste, dikhawe ke liye. But you're right. I mean, we don't discuss politics normally, but I think this is too big an issue to steer clear of, because it is the person who will make the everyday laws that determine how we live, how much we can save, how safe we feel, how.
So, do you think we'll be saying bye-bye to our first Asian Prime Minister?
Well, that's the overriding.
That is the opinion most people have.
That's what people are saying. Although in his defense, he's saying that, I've done a good job first as the Chancellor and now as the Prime Minister, so give me another chance, kind of thing. My policies are only just coming to fruition now.
They're don't dismiss me. Now.
Yeah, don't dismiss me yet. But I think there's a steady possibility that he could be,
ousted, I think.
On his way out.
Yeah. I think he was about to lose this vote of confidence where he suddenly called a snap election. I mean, nobody knows, but that's my...
Also, it doesn't help that he's married to someone whose dad is one of the richest people in the world, kind of thing. So,
you know, the rich list came out, the British rich list came out, and he's richer than the king, I think. You know,
Akshata Murthy's father.
No,
Akshata Murthy.
The Sunaks.
Okay, the Sunaks. And I think that's thanks mainly to, because he comes from a middle class background, right? Like he says, his dad was a GP, his mum was a pharmacist.
Yeah.
And they must have done well, because I think him and his siblings all went to private schools. So obviously they must have done well. But a bulk of their fortune clearly comes from her side.
I think he's famously from Winchester.
Yes. And then Oxford. Or is it Cambridge?
Oxford and then Stanford.
Then Stanford. Which is where they met, by the way. They met in America. And her mother, I'm a huge fan of, Sudha Murthy. You know, I follow her on Instagram as well. And she's a really grounded, sweet, amazing lady.
Isn't she the one who likes to take her own cutlery when she goes on train?
Yeah, whatever she says gets twisted and gets taken out of context.
She doesn't eat.
Because she's the British Prime Minister's mother-in-law.
She doesn't eat with normal utensils or something.
Yeah, she is a lady of integrity and values, because she often talks about, it's not about how much money you have in the bank, but it is about whether your job is making you happy, whether you're committed to helping others, whether you and she writes books also, by the way, best-selling books for children and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, to say the least, which way the UK elections and the India elections and the American elections go. But that's, of course, for a later date. A lot of celebrations.
Shall we move to something a bit more exotic, like cans, or as you like to say, cans?
It is Khan.
Is it Khan?
That's what they say. Indians have no excuse to get it wrong.
Khan Khol ke sun lo?
Khan Khol ke sun lo, because it is exactly that. Indians have no excuse to get it wrong. Nonetheless, even veterans like Ash and many others, cans. I think that's probably how Americans say it, but it's Khan.
How does it work? The first week is all about fashion and L'Oreal and who wore what. Like,
yeah. I think they also screened films in the first week.
I mean, we all saw Ash and
Aditi Rao Hedri, Sunanda Sharma.
They were the ones that kind of won the
Yeah.
The stakes for the best fashion dealers.
I like the fact that Brute India made an effort to take smaller celebrities onto the red carpet this year as well, which is why people like Sunanda Sharma, who very few people have heard of, she's a Punjabi singer. People like one of my favorite Indian chefs of all time, Sanjot Kheer. People like Taha Shah, who played Tajdar Baloch in Hira Mandi.
What? They were representing Brute India?
No, they were Brute India, I think, took them there, sponsored them, but they were representing up-and-coming talent. Oh. So these are all people who are not A-list movie celebrities necessarily, but they've made a name for themselves in their respective professions, whether it is singing in case of Sunanda Sharma, whether it is acting in case of Taha Shah, whether it is food in case of Sanjot Kheer.
The reason why I'm saying this is because, as you know, we record this live on our phone, and we just heard a couple of hours ago that two Indians have prominently won huge awards.
One was a few days ago and one was a few hours ago. Correct. So a Bengali actress, Anusuya Sengupta, she won the Un Certain Regard Prize for Best Actress, and this was for her performance in The Shameless, which, by the way, is a Hindi film, nonetheless directed and written by a Bulgarian filmmaker, Konstantin Bonjanov. And they're saying that it is about this girl who escapes. She escapes a Delhi brothel by killing a police officer, and then it kind of.
Oh, I didn't know it was a Hindi film. I thought it was a European film.
Absolutely in Hindi. But, you're right. It's funded by many, many countries. Interesting to see. Bulgaria, Switzerland, many people, India, many people have funded the project. But
did you say the director is Bulgarian?
The director is Bulgarian, and he's written the story as well. So clearly he must be someone who's spent a considerable amount of time in India. But it is about the gay community. It is about a brothel. It is about sex workers. And apparently, like every Bollywood director now wants to work with her kind of thing. And this was a few days ago. But a few hours ago, it was exactly as you pointed out, Payal Kapadia, who won
Payal Kapadia, she's all over the news right now.
All we imagine as light.
Didn't the Indian Prime Minister send her a message?
A very long message of congratulations. And her film is titled All We Imagine as Light. And this one...
This is an English movie?
It is again an English movie. Yeah. And this won the Grand Prix, which is one step below the Palme d'Or, I believe. So, and even this
still a very big thing.
A very big thing, and apparently she got an 8-minute standing ovation. And they're saying that this is a Malayalam Hindi feature.
She's the actress or she's the director?
She's the director. She's the director. I'm guessing she's the writer as well. And this is a Malayalam Hindi feature, and it's about a nurse who receives an unexpected gift from her husband who's left her for a long time. And then it is also about her roommate in Mumbai, a much younger girl called Anu. So it's based on their lives, their friendship. It's really a human interest story. And I think it's a very big deal for two prominent, well, in case of Anushya Sengupta, I won't call her a prominent personality because she isn't yet. Nonetheless, two works that count Indian talent as the powerhouse behind them. One a film and the other, but they're both films actually, but one picking Best Actress, the other.
So we'll probably have to wait till it comes on
one of the streaming platforms, I'm guessing. That's the tragedy.
We've got quite a few movies that we haven't seen, which the whole world has seen.
Yeah.
12 Fail, Shaitan.
Yeah.
What has come on streaming?
Jane Jaan.
Jane Jaan.
Yeah, we're going back months now. But at least we got to see Lapata Ladies. At least we got to see Hira Mandi at the time when everybody was buzzing about it. But yeah, India...
Well, I also want to see that Article 370.
That I believe I've heard very good reviews about that. And that has something to do with Kashmir again, right? It is about Kashmir being given special status in the constitution because of all the political upheaval that the valley has gone through since India gained independence. So
I think it stars Yamini Gautam and she's a spy.
Yami Gautam. Gautam. She has become a new mum, by the way. So, yeah, much to celebrate for India at Cannes. And besides these two awards, like I said, I'm really chuffed to see that gone are the days when only A-listers with enough clout and a big name who make an appearance on the red carpet. This year, we saw many up-and-coming stars. There's another YouTuber who got a lot of appreciation from young fans in India. That man, Nancy, I forget her second name.
A girl.
Tyagi. Nancy Tyagi, who's a YouTuber. And she apparently has a massive fan following because she recreates these couture dresses herself by picking up the fabric from Sarojini Nagar, Lajpat Nagar kind of places, very ordinary shops. But she is a very good seamstress, obviously, and she recreates them, and many of them are her interpretations of, what Meryl Streep wore or what other Beyonce wore.
If you want to be famous or be known in this day and age, you have to be a YouTuber, basically.
No, but she is a very talented, like I said, seamstress. You have to know how to fashion a garment, craft a garment. Come on, otherwise you can't just look at somebody and know which fabric, which cut, how to put it together. And she makes these videos of where she's gone to the shop, she's picked it up, she's cutting it herself, sewing it, putting it together. So she was on the red carpet as well, and I'm guessing again she was part of the Brute team as an up-and-coming YouTuber.
I didn't even know about this Brute thing. I always thought it was L'Oreal that sends Ash.
L'Oreal is the one which is the official sponsors, but Brute India has now taken it upon themselves to promote young talent. If you actually look at social media, even on Instagram, they are the ones who are posting very interesting, exciting interviews with not the A-list, but the ones who are really disrupting and making fantastic stuff on OTT. So they may not be everyday names, nonetheless they're making stuff that a lot of people are buzzing about and watching.
Making stuff as in directors,
writers, cinematographers, again, like I said,
I think it's a wonderful thing that India's moving away from solely relying on Bollywood.
Yeah, solely relying on stardom.
Yes.
We are so hung up on people who are famous. There are enough people in the world who are very talented without the fame, right? And let's face it, even those who are famous, don't forget, for every Sholay and for every utne piche bhi agar mat jao, Amar Akbar Anthony, for every Krish, for every war, for every Dangal, credit often does not permeate to the people who have actually made it happen. The writers, the cinematographers, the dialogue writers, and everybody else. It only goes, the stars end up walking away with all the glory.
And I guess if you are mentioning Bollywood, you have to mention the Nepo kids.
Nepo kids, absolutely. That's what I was saying, that we are so hung up on these Bollywood khandans that, earlier we didn't feel the need to look beyond that. But now there are companies, there are platforms that are going out of their way to champion talent, which needs to be highlighted, which needs to be put on people's radars. And unless someone is proactive and goes out of their way to do it, they're going to take years and years to come up. This is what I think OTT has done as well. So all credit to OTT. I was just reading about this series that again you and I haven't seen, Panchayat. Panchayat season 3 is about to drop, and people who've seen it, who followed it, it is a story of a gaon. Panchayat, as we know, are 5 wise people in a village who've been given the power to, make decisions. So
judge, jury.
Civics में हम लोग पंचायत पढ़ते आए हैं. But they are saying that it is such a beautiful human interest story. Season 3 is about to drop, and I just read recently that they've already promised their fans 2 more seasons. They're saying we're already almost through with the script for season 4, and season 5 is also in the offing. How amazing is it, right? What I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be a Hira Mandi, which
opulent
and extravagant and all the big names and but there's, unlimited budget.
There are many OTT programs which have done really well, like Family Man, Real Women.
Yeah. Even to some extent, all those 4 shots of tequila or whatever it was, at least it's breaking new ground. At least it's giving you an option from moving away from the same old and, dipping your toes into something else. And that's why it needs to be. And you know what? A lot of the really popular ones, Patal Lok, so many others, we saw Tandav. They pulled the plug on it saying that it's too rude. But I mean, come on. Then we saw Sacred Games. These were all the big ones. Then we saw Bombay Begums, which was so amazing. Pooja Bhatt's comeback.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
That was amazing. Pooja Bhatt is again doing another one. She's got together with Sunil Shetty, and they've been cast in a spy thriller, I believe. But you're absolutely right. It's the interesting thing is that a lot of they're evenly distributed. It's not even that because Netflix and Prime and Disney Hotstar have all the money that only they have been able to champion good talent. Some of these really popular shows, Jamtara say that Srivastav, I forget his first name, he's the guy, he's the young groom in Lapata Ladies.
Oh yes.
So he's the star of Jamtara, I believe. We've not even heard of these because these are completely on Indian platforms.
He's getting a lot of coverage because he was very good in the movie.
Yeah.
I think Amir Khan especially praised him, picked him out.
Yeah, and he said that I didn't believe it when Amir Khan called me. I said, I'm sure it's because Jamtara is about fishing. Scams. He said it was a scam as well, but it wasn't. So there you go. Should we just end on another note of celebration for Shah Rukh Khan, who was first rushed to hospital because of dehydration and exhaustion? And a
couple of hours ago,
his team
which is in a way your team because you're also from Kolkata.
Korbo, Lodbo, Jeetbo. That is their tagline.
Kolkata Knight Riders just beat
Sunrisers Hyderabad. Sunrisers Hyderabad at the IPL 2024 finals.
In case you're wondering, Sunrisers made 113.
Yeah.
And of course, KKR made 114 and beat them.
So Shah Rukh Khan was out of hospital, back in the stadium with his full family to celebrate, cheer and do the happy dance.
Do you think it's too much cricket because starting in a couple of days is the T20 World Cup, which is this year in USA and Canada?
Yeah. Also, isn't Pakistan touring England? Because I see all these photographs of my friends who are at Edgbaston, right?
Right now.
Yeah, so they kept it a bit quiet. I didn't even know that the Pakistani cricket team is touring England this summer.
Jeffrey Archer has made a comeback.
Jofra Archer.
Yeah. Did I say Jeffrey Archer?
You said Jeffrey Archer.
You mean the famous author?
Yes. Oh. Jofra Archer. But yeah, it might just be a case of too much cricket. Forget too much cricket. This is going to be the year of sport. It's the year of the Olympics. Fortunately, I'm going to be away.
And the Euros.
The Euros as in?
European Football Championships.
Does that also happen every 4 years?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. Where is that happening?
I'm not sure, but it's not in England. Maybe it's in Paris or somewhere. I don't know.
And is it also in the summer months?
Yeah.
It will be. Oh my goodness me! So it is going to be a year of a lot of sporting stuff going on. We booked a holiday to India, and by strange coincidence, when I booked it, I didn't realize I'm going to be away.
Exact same time as the Olympics.
The Olympics, yeah. So the whole world is going to be making their way to Paris or to this part of the world, and we'll be going in the other direction. But anyway, it is what it is. Looking forward to India already. So there you go. Election time, the Cornfield Festival, IPL. I think it's been last 2 weeks have been 2 weeks of celebration, and a lot of big things suddenly happening with elections being called in this country as well.
Yeah, exciting times.
Exciting times ahead.
So I think the next time you tune in to us, well, not in 2 weeks' time, the time probably after that, we'll know exactly what's going on, where and how and when and why.
Yeah.
And let's see, we might have different prime ministers in different countries.
Yeah.
We might not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, let's just hope that whoever is voted into power is the right person in terms of, like I said, giving citizens of the world the hope that they need right now. Political stability, economic stability, global warming, these are big issues that...
Climate change has kind of fizzled out a bit in...
only because politics is dominating now. But otherwise, if you think about it, even now, I was talking to my dad today and he said that there's a massive storm which is about to hit the coast of Bengal. And it is about more than global warming, more than the planet heating up. It's just about freak weather, right? It's about extreme weather conditions. Even here, we've not had a proper spring or start to summer at all. Even we've had rain virtually every third day.
And I believe the temperature in Rajasthan touched 47 or 48 yesterday.
And it's not even June yet.
Yeah. That is very hot for someone who doesn't know.
Yeah. And that's seriously worrying. That is seriously worrying because that is where you're threatening people's lives and livelihoods.
And yeah, it's true.
So you need political leaders in power who have the courage to make the tough decisions. And I feel that the onus is on the big countries, is on the powerful countries in the West. And when it comes to the subcontinent, India, China, these leaders have to, at the expense of maybe even becoming unpopular, they have to make the hard decisions to save humanity.
The BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China.
Yeah.
Is that BRIC? BRIC.
Yeah. And of course, all the big Western powers. So people have to take unpopular decisions just to make sure our grandchildren have a planet to call their own. Let's put it that way. On that somber note.
I was just going to say, you took the words out of my mouth. On that somber note.
Yeah.
Shall we say bye-bye?
Yes, I think we should.
Till next time.
Bye-bye then.
Bye-bye now.